Hi guys and welcome to Thrustzone.com. This is Mohit Soni. What is in front of you is the QJ Motors SRC 500 cruiser motorcycle. QJ Motor has made its entry in the Indian market with a couple of products. We are here with one of them, and this is a relaxed cruising motorcycle category which is grabbing a lot of attention on the road, as well as demand for this is skyrocketing every other day. That is the reason why a lot of competitors and manufacturers are present in this and are going to be present in this category sooner or later. QJ Motors is is known for getting out a lot of motorcycles within the from 250cc to 300 to 400 and 500 in multiple formats. So that starts from a single cylinder unit to a 400cc twin cylinder, but surprisingly this is a very big single. It's a 500cc single cylinder unit, and as always, let's begin with the design, and then we'll head on to the other parts of the review, where you can see this looks like a very good motorcycle to me. It is proportionate. I really like the stance because it isn't too low at the back. It is sort of a close reminder of a mixture, in fact, between the Java and the Royal Enfields, where the tank is very big like a Royal Enfield from the past, and this second half, the swing arm, the subframe section and the swing arm section, of course, is very much like a Java or SD. So this is a very ideal balance because it isn't too low like the Meteor, Royal Enfield Meteor, and isn't very high like the Thunderbird. So it's a very nice design, and it lends it very good ergonomics as well, which I'll discuss while riding. As you can see at the front, it's got a typical retro look with a very large headlamp on offer, very large turn indicators on offer. Paint quality on the panels is really nice. Fit finish is pretty good, but obviously could have been better. But there are no sharp edges. It's just that the paint on certain components could have been better, and it could have been finished in much better way. But whatever you're going to touch and feel is going to be in fact very good. Look at these chrome mirror stocks here, and you've got adjustable levers for the brake only, so that is also part of the feature list. You're getting a hazard lamp button here. Surprisingly, the instrument cluster is just devoid of any fuel efficiency parameters, but it has everything else. A tachometer, gear shift indicator which is very pronounced, and you've got a fuel gauge, and you've got telltale lights and etc on it, and you've got a very old school fuel gauge, fuel cap as well. Like I said, most things that you're going to touch, feel and be on the top section is actually quite nice. It's the lower section which is also good, but in certain areas it needs to be better. And the seat here also looks quite nice. It's ribbed for the rider section, and it is smooth for the pillion. It is quite big. You can sit here quite well. Grab handles are here on offer. So this is actually a proper two-seater where you can take someone for a long drive and for short rides, as well as long commutes within the city itself. They should be quite comfortable. Our short ride with the pillion said that they are actually quite comfortable. So I think coming from a pillion is always a welcome move and a right analysis of the same. At the back, you've got chrome as well surrounding on the turn indicators and the tail lamp as well, and huge exhaust that is on offer clearly reminds us of the motorcycles from the past. It is really well shaped, looks really nice, grabs a lot of attention on the road. We've never been bombarded with questions like this for unlike any other motorcycle, because with this red and white paint scheme, the perfect proportions, the elements coming out really well. It is a slightly busy design in the lower half. Could have been better. The wiring could have been much well sorted, but then again, it is a minimalist sort of motorcycle as well. The flat alloy wheels are on offer both sides. You've got a 100 section at the front, which is a 19-inch unit, and at the back you've got an 18-inch unit with 130 section tires, and that is what the bike is all about. Surprisingly, it is not oil cooled or liquid cooled. It is just a single cylinder motor. And what I'm going to talk about riding right now, and I'll begin with the ergonomics, is that with this subframe that is on offer, the riding position is quite nice. Almost anybody can grip the tank with their thighs quite well, and even if you're slimmer or larger like me, you will find that the ergonomics are quite nice. So and they're very comfortable and at the same time very welcoming. So that makes a very good first impression of the motorcycle, and even while riding for a long period of time, we realize that it is actually quite good. And what else can we tell you about the ergonomics is that the handlebar positioning is also nice. So something that a lot of manufacturers don't get it right. They either try to experiment or they don't get it right, and here it seems just about right. I think if I were to complain is that the handlebar might be a little lower. It could have been a bit higher, but then again the whole the stance and the proportions also could have looked very different. Maybe they did not want that to happen. But overall 9 out of 10 for the ergonomics. Really well done ergonomics in my eyes. And we've ridden it for in the city, on the highway. We found it pretty impressive for for the distance that we did on the motorcycle. Of course, a long-term aspect is completely different. Maybe someday we could answer that as well. Coming to the most important part, the engine, 25 PS and 36 Newton meters of torque, a 5-speed gearbox which is very smooth, very slick. The clutch is also quite light, and the engine is also very smooth. It doesn't feel like a 500 single, but at the same time it feels like a lower capacity single, and it is that smooth. So somehow QJ Motors has found the right balance of getting that smoothness out of that engine, because the moment you rev it till redline and when you're revving it till low and mid-range as well, there are no vibrations. The engine feels very smooth. It is just about well geared as well. It isn't too tall geared, it isn't too short geared, it's somewhere in between. It is slightly biased towards the tall end, so that is again a very good balance indeed and that is where the great ergonomics and the relaxed engine and torque everywhere, because it's 36 Newton meters of torque that is available from the mid-range to the top end, not to the extreme top end, because it's a cruiser. It doesn't need that push after 8000 rpm, so that is where the engine sort of cuts off the torque, but you can rev it slightly higher, no worries. And all of this makes it a very good riding experience. The motorcycle is nimble in the city. It's quite agile because of the slim tire setup, and QJ has also chosen that conservative tire wheel approach where it is on the slimmer side, so that makes things agile and nimble. It keeps good fuel efficiency as well. We've been getting just around 25 to something between 27 to 30 kilometers per liter, which is also a very impressive number, and for a motorcycle of this size and price. And the gearbox is smooth, the clutch is light, it is agile in the city and nimble to ride. It is not that heavy to maneuver in parking lots as well. A bit of effort and I think you will be just fine, and then you will obviously get used to it. Apart from that, handling feels very stable through the corners. Of course, the suspension at the front feels a little wooden, the suspension at the back feels a little softer, so that helps it gain good agility, good nimbleness, but and good ride quality as well. It's got a really good ride quality. We put it through really bad roads and it just didn't transfer much of it to the rider, so that is also really well done. But all of that makes it a motorcycle that is very calm and relaxing to drive. It doesn't need to be pushed hard, and when you do so, it will reward you. And when you push it harder, it will not reward you, because like I said, the front suspension feels a little wooden, the rear is softer, so it doesn't give you that confidence to push it harder. The tires are also not that sporty, so you shouldn't be doing that anyways. Surprisingly, the brakes are also quite good, and at the front and at the back, of course, there could have been better bite, but then again, it's not a sporty motorcycle, it's a relaxed motorcycle, and for that, yes, there could be more room for getting slightly better brakes when it comes to a relaxed motorcycle as well, because if you cruise at higher speeds, you need a bit of more initial bite, but performance is also good enough, and so that should not make it risky or hazardous in any way. It's just that the feel, the bite and the performance, it just needs a little bit more tweaking to make it a little bit more confidence inspiring. And once you do that, once you brake hard, you'll realize the front dive in also is it does dive in a little bit, despite it feels wooden. So I think that is also something that QJ could work upon. A slightly better front suspension, much more beefier front suspension also could do the job in providing more confidence while doing so. A little bit of dive is just fine, which this has, but I think front forks could have been could have been better. Apart from that, I think the pricing is just about right, and it is available through Benelli and Motor World showrooms, so you can get where to go to, because you've seen these showrooms already pop up. The Motor World, the Benelli Keyway, they've been on a launch spree, and they've come out with QJ Motors as well. It's their brand as well, it's their brand. So it is something Adishwar Auto has been doing a great job at expanding to all major cities as much as possible, and with the kind of unique looks, the unique perspective it has, it's got good riding dynamics, and It's got a good price to price value ratio. A lot of things are working in its aspect. The ergonomics, the calm riding, the great looks, the good color schemes that are on offer makes it very unique, and with not much to sacrifice when it comes to riding or comfort. I think this is something that you should definitely look forward to if you are in the budget of rupees around 3 lakh rupees. I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Follow us on our website and social media for everyday updates. Until then, goodbye.